still holding on. Let go.
What's up, everybody? PR and VR. So I've had a few comments recently asking certain questions concerning the game and what you can do in it and how certain things work. So I put together this video. Some of these have already been covered in my tips and tricks video. Some of this stuff is updated with the addition of guns. So if you don't find what you're looking for here, I recommend going and checking out my tips and tricks video and see if maybe what you're looking for is there. So right off the bang, I want to address the inventory system. I don't think there currently is an inventory system. I've checked on it. I've clicked it here. I've checked it in the hanger. Nothing. I've tried putting stuff in my holster to see if maybe it would get added. That didn't work. I looked around online. I didn't see anything online concerning it, not even for the PC version. So the only thing I can think of is it probably will serve a purpose in a later game mode. I don't know. Maybe we'll actually have missions. Who knows? So I'm thinking that's what we're going to see inventory come into play. The game does have a how to play, but it's very basic. It tells you how to jump, how to crouch, your menu button, weapon press, etc., how to grab items. It doesn't tell you things such as how to fire your shoulder rockets, which I believe it's either X or Y. I'm sorry, I can't remember right now off the top of my head, but it's one of those buttons. So real quickly, all buildings are climbable. The Eiffel Tower here, and if you look carefully, the building that you can see in the background there are the only buildings that are indestructible. So if you're going to climb and you want to test out climbing, here's where you start. The trick to it is grab the building, then hit the jump button. And then from there, just continue to climb on up. Now, this building and the tallest building back there, you really can't get on the roof, or at least I couldn't. However, you can climb up on top of these buildings. Just be careful that you're not damaging them. Too much damage, and as you saw in the intro, the military will come after you. You can also attempt to jump building from building, though I don't recommend it because no matter what, your legs are going to hit it and destroy them. Guns in this game, no matter which gun you're using, all fill off. You're not going to get a clear sight when you're firing them. Also, a good thing to note is that every gun has kickback. So anytime you fire it, your mech's going to start moving. Now, I did try different ways to fire the pistol. I tried grabbing my arm. I also tried double-handing it, as you see here. This is the most accurate way you can fire this gun, but even then, you're going to notice that you're holding your controls in a really weird way to fire this gun. Next, we have the airstrike, and if you look very carefully, you can actually see the instructions. This one took me a minute to figure out, but it's pretty straightforward. Pull the cap. Once you got purple smoke, you know what time it is. Get rid of that thing like a hot potato. The airstrike does a tremendous amount of damage. I've actually used it in my fight against Orochi, and I've knocked his health way down just from an airstrike alone. Next is the piece de resistance. This is the chain gun. This is the gun everybody wants. And it is also the hardest to control. It is going to throw you all over the place when you fire it. So actually, the best way to fire this gun is to walk forward with it. You're not going to be able to fire this gun one-handed unless you want to act like you got a rubber arm. And truly, the only accurate way to fire this gun is just to watch where the rounds are going and adjust. Next is the assault rifle, which is tragically my least favorite gun. And I love the assault rifle, carbine rifle style. The problem is your controllers are going to be all over the place just to fire this thing accurately. By the way, quick tip. If you don't want to pull this gun from your shoulder upside down, whatever shoulder you decide to place it on, you are going to have to reach towards your back and across your shoulder in order to be able to grab it proper. So just kind of keep that in mind. Now, don't let this fool you, what you see on the screen, because I had one hand by my face and one pretty much by my hip in order to get this thing strangely lined up. You're not going to hold it like you would any other game like Zero Caliber or whatever. The best way to fire this gun is honestly one-handed like you're seeing here, or firing from the hip. And like every other gun, adjust your shots accordingly. Damage-wise, all the guns seem to do relatively the same amount of damage. Obviously, there's a difference with how much rounds you're throwing down range, and obviously the minigun is going to be the most devastating. It's the perfect gun if you're going to face more than one Kaiju, or annihilate just one. So when it comes to the dagger and the katana, those are weapons that I want to love. I want to love them because those are two of my favorite weapons when it comes to any kind of melee combat. However, the dagger just kind of feels weird. You can cut both ways. The same is true with the katana. So you can use the back end of it to cut. Stabbing the enemy, it doesn't seem to drain their health, or at least I didn't notice that. So you're just kind of cutting away. And I kind of feel like it does the same amount of damage as it would if I just started punching them. This is kind of why I didn't really cover them in the last tutorial I did for this game. They're cool. Don't get me wrong. I like them. They're cool. I'll use them every now and again. But they're just not something that I really, really rely on. The katana has somewhat of a cumbersome feel. And again, it's one of those weapons that I wanted to love. I did manage to take his head off with it, but who knows? And again, you're seeing me cut backwards with the katana. So I know the developer has his hands full. I really hope that the katana gets a whole lot more TLC that it rightfully deserves, because I know it'll be an amazing weapon. All right, so this next one's a 2-for-1. If you're trying to grab items from your hip, try reaching by your kidney. It's the easiest way to grab hip items. The other thing, how you use the stem to heal whatever body part depends on how you hold it. I'm attempting to demonstrate it here in this video, but you're really just going to have to figure out what works for you. Now, I never actually ran out of any stem in one syringe. That doesn't mean that it won't happen in a future update, especially if they add a campaign or whatever. So plan to bring extra ones, and maybe that's what's going to wind up in the inventory. Stems and airstrikes. So let's talk about the rocket fist. Now, this is a weapon I don't typically use. However, after playing around with it, I fell in love with it, especially if you combined it with the wrist blade. By pressing grab and trigger, you begin the charge process for the rocket fist. The longer you hold it, the longer it charges, and the further you go. Now, even the slightest movement forward, you're going to throw the punch. So if you're charging it, be careful to hold your hand still. By the way, these puppies can cover some distance if you charge it, jump, and throw a Superman punch. So I said they became my new favorite weapon because I even did a little experiment. I charged up both, jumped, and it took me right over by the Eiffel Tower. That's a lot of distance to cover. And then if you combine that with the wrist blade, it does a lot of damage and it has a lot of reach. Now next, I'm going to talk about the ball and chain. But before I do, you can't use the rocket fist with the ball and chain. So if you're going to use the ball and chain, consider not having a rocket fist on that arm, as it'll be useless. The ball and chain is a very interesting weapon. It packs a punch, so you can easily break Kaiju's jaws with it. In addition to that, it's one of those weapons that if you can master, it's great for crowd control. I'd personally love to see the dev give this weapon a little bit more knockback. It's great. I mean, it already can break limbs. Like, I think it'd be great if you could hit the Kaiju's legs and potentially take them down. You can launch the ball and chain, which actually does do damage and can potentially break a Kaiju's jaw. In addition to that, it has spikes on it, so it pretty much acts as a grab. So if you're going to use it as a ball and chain, I don't recommend having the spikes on unless the goal is to grab the Kaiju. Otherwise, it just it won't keep swinging. It'll just grab the Kaiju and stop. I think that's going to about wrap up this video, guys. If there's anything that you want to know, leave it in the comments section. I'll try to answer it there. If there's enough of you asking enough questions, maybe I'll put out another video. But I hope that this covered a lot of what you're looking for. Again, go watch the other tips and tricks video. You might find some stuff there that might answer your question. I'll do my best to keep up with the updates, guys. If you found the video helpful, please leave a like, please share, please subscribe. Otherwise, guys, take care of yourselves. Peace out.